Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And on behalf of the entire Embarcadero team, thank you for being here. We appreciate you being a part of this webinar today. My name is Ben Schwank. I'm General Manager here at Embarcadero, and I'm happy to be with you today for what is not just another product announcement, but for something that is truly a milestone in the ongoing evolution of RAD Studio. Now, for over 3 decades, developers have trusted Delphi and C++ Builder to build powerful applications and build them more rapidly than traditional approaches. And throughout that history, we've seen the industry itself change significantly several times, whether it was client-server or the web or mobile or the cloud. And today, of course, as everyone knows, we're experiencing yet another transformational shift in artificial intelligence. And the question isn't whether AI will change software development. I think we know that it already has. The question is, how can RAD Studio developers take advantage of that shift while continuing to build those same apps and services and solutions that they and so many others rely upon every day? And that question is why we're here. Today, we're introducing Kai. And Kai is a new chapter for RAD Studio. And Kai really represents our vision for what AI-assisted development in RAD Studio should be. It's designed, obviously, to help developers work more quickly, to work more efficiently in complex code bases, and to automate a lot of those mundane tasks that have traditionally consumed a lot of valuable development time. And I think, just as importantly, we've approached AI with Kai in a way that reflects the values of our community. For example, we believe in power, but balanced with simplicity. We believe in openness and freedom of choice. We believe in increasing the value of our tools while reducing the time that it takes for our developers to realize that value. And maybe, most importantly, we believe that AI should work alongside developers, not in place of them, to keep them productive and to give them full control. So again, I want to thank you for joining us. I'm excited to introduce Kai to you. And we've actually spent the past several months preparing for exactly this moment. And I hope you're going to like what you see. But my words can only go so far. So at this point, I'd like you to check out Kai's capabilities for yourself in this short demo video. And then our PM Marco will walk through the product in much greater detail.
Welcome to Kai, your new AI assistant for Delphi, C++ Builder, and RAD Studio. Let's build a small demo and explore the main capabilities in under 3 minutes. We will start with a plain VCL project and open the AI agent. First, you decide which AI service provider you want to use, local or cloud. Let's select Copilot for this demo. Now, let's ask the agent to create an easy but fully working Delphi demo. Just type in your instructions for Kai to get started. Kai then examines and understands your project and can generate code directly for your application. As you can see here, Kai has full access to your IDE and can add any controls to your forms. It has also compiled the project, so we're ready to run the application. Kai saves valuable time by handling the boilerplate code for you, so instead of repetitive tasks, you can focus on building great applications while the AI does the heavy lifting. As you type, Kai provides inline AI completions directly inside the editor with ghost text. Typing is now much faster, and the suggestions can be more complex and contain multiple lines of ready-to-use code. If you prefer, suggestions can be included in the completion window instead. The choice is up to you. Kai can also generate larger blocks of code using panel completions. Based on the surrounding code, generated suggestions can be really advanced with multiple blocks of code. Kai also offers more than one suggested solution. Just hit the button and it will be inserted into the editor. Kai can also help fix compiler errors by analyzing the code and compiler output. Here, we wanted to get the text from the edit box. We let Kai fix it and run the application. And, without any work from us, the error is fixed. Kai keeps you inside your IDE while bringing powerful AI assistance directly into your development workflow. Download Kai today and discover what it can help you build. Kai is more than an AI add-on. It is the next evolution of RAD Studio, built for speed, power, and flexibility. Welcome to the future of RAD. Welcome to Kai.
This is Marco, and I'm going to show you some of the features in Kai. Before I do that, I want to give you a quick introduction of why you might want to use Kai. The first reason is to stay in the flow. The ability to work entirely within RAD Studio, turning prompts into working code, running builds, applying fixes without having to switch context. It's great to have smarter coding built into the IDE. You can boost your productivity while not having to change your usual way of working. You can use inline autocomplete powered by AI. We can use rich code suggestions. It's really an extension to your editor with additional capabilities that really change the way you can work. The third reason is that unlike other tools, you can not only work on code, but you can also generate or modify UIs. You can create working prototypes. You can create small applications completely by vibe coding, just describing your idea and letting Kai create the code for you, including the user interface and wiring, event handlers. You can also use Kai to modernize your code. If you have existing application and you want to change things, again, in the visual, in the libraries, in the actual code, leveraging new features of Delphi and C++ Builder, you can use Kai to help you. The other reason you might want to use Kai is that you're not locked into a single vendor or a single provider. You can use several options. You can use local options. You can use some of the most powerful tools in the industry, and you can decide what to pick, what provides the best balance in terms of speed, cost, and capability. Kai is enterprise ready by design. There's no proxy layer via Embarcadero servers. We do not receive anything from you, any of your code. There is not a mandatory cloud dependency. You can decide that your code stays under your control. You can use LM Studio, you can use Olama on your developer machine or on your local network and have only local communication with them. Local models provide a lot of additional protection. When privacy matters, we really recommend you to go in that direction. Now let me guide you through some of the features, but before we actually do that, let me give you some ideas in terms of the installation and the configuration. Kai is going to be available in Get for RAD Studio 13 and 12. It's also going to be available in the download portal at my.embarcadero.com. You can install it for both the 32-bit and 64-bit versions of the IDE. You can easily download and install Get, but you also need a license key. We are going to make available free 30-day trials for every developer currently on 13 or 12. More information will be available later in this webinar. The installation guides you through a couple of very simple steps. You can pick which of the integrations for the local LLMs, command line interfaces, CLI tools. You need your own key or subscription, whether it's free or paid, up to you, to one or more of these engines to be able to use them effectively in Kai. Once it's installed, the splash screen is not only going to indicate Kai is there, but it's also going to indicate if the license is active. Once it is installed, Kai adds a configuration section in the RAD Studio Tools Options dialog. There are 3 sub-pages. One is where you configure completions, so the code completion or the suggestions that you can get on specific lines of code. The second option is for configuring chats. And of course, you can configure more than one provider for your chats, whether it's local or remote. The third tab is for configuring additional MCP servers outside of what Kai and RAD Studio automatically provide. Now let's finally go into a little more details of some of the features you already seen in the initial video and we're going to demo later on. So the first thing is Ghost Text. Ghost Text is a code completion suggestion, but rather than showing in the code completion windows, it shows immediately in the editor with a slight slant, so you can see that the second show message there is partially completed automatically. It appears after a short pause. You can just press the tab key to accept or press escape to dismiss, or keep typing and keep typing over what the suggestion is providing. Notice that this is fully context aware. In this very simple example, because the first message is show hello, the AI is going to suggest, or at least the time I took the screenshot, suggested me to add the word world. You can add a comment, for example, to help drive the AI to do something that you are interested in. The same feature is available with a different UI by integrating the Kai suggestions in the code inside code completions. So it will pop up on top of the other regular information. In this case, because I started typing show, you get properties and the show procedure. But because I added a comment on the line above, the suggestion that Kai is providing me is a more comprehensive show message format with different information, the current date and time, and so forth. So it's not just code completion, it's a significant suggestion based on the context, in this case, primarily the comment above. Now, when you need more than a single line because you want help in writing some slightly more complex code snippets, you can use suggestions. This is a dedicated panel that shows up when you're asking for a suggestion, and you can just right-click somewhere in your code and generate a suggestion. The suggestion is multi-line, is also, of course, completely context-aware. And in this case, because I want to convert amounts to string, and we're just providing an enumeration, I'm going to get the fairly tedious code to write, which is mapping the different months to a string. Now, there's also a first suggestion, which just uses a low-level trick that Delphi makes available, which is using get enum name, so extracting the type information from the actual enumerated value. Whether you want to go one way or the other, up to you. You can just select one of the suggestions and ask Kai to put it in the actual code. While suggestions are certainly great, where things really go at a different level is within the Kai chat, because the Kai chat is a fully integrated assistant in the IDE that is not just going to tell you the code that you can put into your application, providing indications, suggestions, ideas, recommendations, like any other AI chat, but it can do things for you. It can actually edit your source code. As I was mentioning, not just edit the source code, but also edit your designers, your FireMonkey or VCL designers open in the IDE at that time. It can compile an application, look for compiler errors, and try to fix the errors on your behalf. It can implement new features. There is one flag at the bottom of the chat that indicates if you want to make the chat read-only, so it's going to read your source, read the information in the IDE, but do not make any change. Or you can give the agent permission to ask you for specific operations before doing them, or just giving them full access and give them the freedom to make change. In the chat, you can also pick for each vendor multiple engines, multiple LLMs that are available. You can see a couple of examples here. In the chat, you can also add file references, and you can also issue specific commands to do operations that you are interested in. This is a fully agentic chat that uses MCP to loop back to the RAD Studio IDE. So Kai is also an MCP engine for the RAD Studio IDE. It can orchestrate workflows. It can handle files on the file system or handle files in the editor, even files that are not saved, because it can work on the editor buffer. It can resolve build errors. It can manage version control. It can do a lot of operations on your behalf inside the IDE. And you can also, as I mentioned, integrate with other MCP tools you have available. Kai offers the ability to automatically compile and fix errors in the compiler by reading the compiler output and attempting to fix the code on your behalf. By providing MCP servers for version control, for other tools in your toolchain, in your own toolchain, you can extend Kai to leverage the entire infrastructure you're using. If we want to see a picture of the Kai architecture, in essence, is that Kai is talking with some of the local CLIs for the various vendors. And then these CLIs can send back MCP requests to RAD Studio itself using Kai. And of course, some of these are going to also communicate and talk with the backend servers they rely on, or for local engines with the local installation of an LLM. That is all in terms of theory. Let's have a look to a few nice demos. To start our demo, I have configured Kai completions to use Ghost Text and use GitHub Copilot. So with this configuration, I have this very simple one-button application with list of integers. Let me actually do one change, and it is adding form create event handler. And here I want to, of course, create the list. This is what the AI suggests in the Ghost Text. So I'm going to go for it. And then the other thing I want to do is add numbers to the list. So let me add a comment. And now with the comment uses context, when I press, it's suggesting me to add 10. And let's do another number. And now it's suggesting me to add 20. Well, even if I mistyped. Now we want to show some information about our list. Let's see if we can get a suggestion. Well, suggesting us to show the first number. This is not what I want. Show list items count. That's probably a better suggestion. Let me do another round. And this time I got what I was looking for, which is the items in the list. If we prefer, we can use a different UI. Let me get back to the project options and go for the code inside symbol. If I do something similar, this is certainly better. I'm getting show message of the first item converted to a string. Two different UIs, but the same basic behavior. Now let's assume we want to do something a little more complicated. So let me add a second button. In this second button, what I want to do is I want to create an edit box in the form with a comment explaining what I want. I can go to Kai Suggestions. It's open a suggestion window that is going to offer me one or more suggestions of how to implement the same. Suggestion one is fairly simple and direct, but it's limited. In the second one, it has certainly weird code. This suggestion 4 is slightly more interesting, and I'm not sure why, but it's adding the value of the edit into the string. This is not terribly logical because, of course, this has just been created, so the text is not terribly useful and it's always going to fail. So probably what we want to do here is grab this and put it into an event handler for the edit box. You don't always get perfect suggestions, but you can certainly get interesting suggestions and ideas on how to write the code of your application. Let's decide that we just don't want this extra bit. We want to compile the app and then add the edit underneath the button aligned with button 1 and using a proper spacing. That's very simple code snippet created for us by Kai suggestions. Let's now move to have a look to the Kai chat. In the Kai chat, you can create a new session, and when you're creating a new session, you can pick the vendor that you want to use. In this case, I'm going to use Codex for OpenAI. Once it's ready, Kai just asks you what you want to build. And here you can type your request. So what I want to do here is to create an application that's going to have 2 buttons to display the date and some weather information. I want to give full access because I want this to be agentic. Let's pick one of the engines and let's go for it. As you can see, you can get information about what's going to happen. Suggesting to create a new VCL project skeleton. This is really accessing the file system. Mostly looking for available file names. It's now creating the application for us. Creating the Pascal file and the form. So now this is opening the project. It's actually trying to build it, but it got into an issue. It couldn't really compile the form. It's trying to go with a different approach. Now it's making another attempt. It could compile the application, and it's describing what it did. It's opening the project in RAD Studio. Let's actually dock this here so we can keep it at hand a little bigger. And we can check what was done. It ended up doing the simple thing for the first button, showing a message. For the second button, it put the code into this get Florence temperature, which is using Indy HTTP and SSL, and using an API to read the meteo, doing JSON processing for the value, and then displaying the actual result and cleaning up the temporary object that it created. Let me actually run the application. Show the current date, which is, well, yesterday, if you're looking this on the webinar, and get the temperature in Florence. So I'm actually asking to switch back to using the HTTP client library because I don't have a copy of OpenSSL. And I really prefer using the HTTP client library. So let's have a peek to the code, which is now using HTTP client. Let me try to run it again and get the Florence temperature. And it's telling me that is 21 Celsius. We have built an application. We had to go through some attempts. First, Kai tried to use HTTP client library, decided to switch to Indy. I asked the system to switch back to using HTTP client library, and it did everything by doing JSON processing. I, of course, have no idea of the specific API it's being called and the formats, but it was able to figure out and give me a working application that gets me the temperature in Florence. And of course, the reason I picked Florence is because I'm running this in RAD Studio 13 Florence. So that is quite extraordinary. But let me try something else. I know we kind of went through it already, so it shouldn't really be an issue. Let's try to inject a couple of silly errors here in the code. If I now try to compile this, the code won't compile, but I don't want to fix it manually. I'm going to say the code doesn't compile anymore. Can you fix it? And let's go for it. So it tries to compile. It's actually reading the error messages and then trying to figure out what's happening. It figures out there are some invalid references. I know that was easy. And now it went through, updated the variable names to the right names, and it is actually working. Now let me try another thing. Let's assume we forgot one of the uses statements. And again, this breaks the application. Fix it again. It's a slightly different issue at this time. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to find the issue, but well, we can give it a go. It's building. It's not finding the symbol. The HTTP units were removed from the uses section. Oh yes, I did it. Now it's adding those again. And it went to the wrong libraries. So now it's making another attempt to get the right libraries. So I think now we're at a point that the application is going to compile and run and work. So again, this is quite marvelous. To finish our set of Kai demos, I want to show something different. First, I want to create a FireMonkey application this time, but also I want to use C++ as the programming language. So again, I'm going to give full access. I'm going to go for specific LLM, and let's see if this works out. So it's looking into what to do, checking if we have an active project. Oh, it's actually suggesting us to do a multi-device C++ application in RAD Studio. I think we can do it. Let me show the chat again. So now it's checking what is the active RAD Studio project. It's working actually in the editor. It actually found unit 1 CPP, right? And the .h file. It's changing them along with the fmx file. Working on the various files, adding the button. Now building the application, and it's done. It's describing us the work. Let's actually check it for ourselves. Put the chat here on the side, and we see there is code, and there is a designer with the button. I assume we can run it, and it's working. So I was primarily demoing Delphi, but everything works in C++. I was showing VCL, but now I've been showing FireMonkey. So there is a lot that Kai can do regardless of the type of application you are building.
Well, I hope with these videos, the value of Kai is now apparent. And I hope you're wondering, how in the world do I get my hands on it? One thing that we felt very strongly about from the beginning was reducing friction. We didn't want customers evaluating Kai through a limited demo environment or a reduced feature set. And for that reason, Kai includes a fully functional 30-day trial experience. Now, if you're already using RAD Studio 12 or 13, getting started is very straightforward. You'll soon be delivered a redemption link to request your free Kai trial key. And then once you have that key, you should be able to redeem nearly instantaneously and then simply activate the key through the license manager and then install Kai directly from Get It once it's publicly available. If you're new to RAD Studio or you're off maintenance and support and you wish to try it, you can download a RAD Studio trial and Kai will automatically be included. The bottom line is that it doesn't take long to get up and running with Kai. And on a personal note there, I actually downloaded, activated, and began using Kai myself. And within 5 minutes, I had vibe coded a fully functional calculator app for Windows with full Windows theming support. And the Kai agent had created the source, it had added the theme support to the source, it had compiled, it successfully troubleshot a compile error, and then it built and ran the app on my system. Now, I know that term vibe coding is turning some stomachs right now, but for someone like me who hasn't written a single line of Delphi code yet, it felt like magic. And the point is that Kai is easy to install and easy to begin using, easy to see the value of. And most importantly, it's been designed to work inside real-world Delphi workflows. So real projects, real code bases, and real productivity gains. I think you'll recognize the value of Kai very quickly when you begin integrating it into your natural development experience. Okay, so you're sold on Kai's value and you're ready to get started. So what does licensing look like? Well, we've offered Kai as a standalone annual subscription. It's available for Delphi, C++ Builder, and RAD Studio customers at a flat rate of $249 per year. Now, we intentionally kept the licensing model simple, so pricing is the same across all editions, Professional, Enterprise, and Architect. But just as importantly, this subscription helps fund the ongoing investment required to keep Kai modern, reliable, and rapidly evolving along with the industry in this ever-shifting AI landscape. And to that point, you should expect to see frequent updates and improvements, not only to support changes across the leading AI providers, but also to deliver new features, deeper integrations, and expanded capabilities over time. And I want to emphasize something important here. Kai is not pulling resources away from existing RAD Studio development. We've actually made significant additional investments in dedicated engineering and ongoing maintenance specifically for Kai. And you'll see that commitment reflected very clearly in the months ahead. One additional note, Kai does require active maintenance and support, and the subscription period for Kai will align with your existing renewal date to simplify management and renewals. For new customers, Kai will be available for purchase with a new RAD Studio license, and it will renew along with that license's maintenance and support. If you're an existing customer, once Kai is available, reach out to your Embarcadero sales rep or your reseller to add Kai to your current environment. They'll get you up and running. And finally, I just want to mention this is really only the beginning for Kai. We believe that AI-assisted development will become an increasingly important part of the RAD Studio experience in the weeks and months ahead. So stay tuned, because if I can build a calculator, then I genuinely cannot wait to see what you build with it.